The Points TV so any episode 4 Yamama Kwaba Edeba ye channel ye so open number 1 channel ebema all the political issues so ewo man Ghana mu adia ene na make am for the Points TV ede amao. Mess also be subscribe to your YouTube channel na Facebook like video ede amame. Share ma fofrenya bi hwe for comment so bra ewo comment section wo. Ensem bebre so ewo man Ghana ye politics mu. Na NDC for no ede omo de namfa, MPP for ede namfa, CPP ni other political parties ni nyina omo de namfa. Ebusua ensem bia ba beto dwa editie na dihwe ensoso. Yanko na yanko hwe video ya etwagui emra.
Is largely a lot of what it is that we've seen or she's experiencing currently. The 5-member committee hearing as breaches of procedure, breaches of natural justice, amongst many other things. And she makes quite a number of references to where the hearing is happening at, with specific history to the martyrs of justice that we know in this country, which happened in what many have described as the dark days of Ghana's history, amongst many other things. But just by way of a refresher, if you want to call it that, it's been an emotional address by the Chief Justice, who makes 4 arguments is the basis upon which she's decided to speak to the nation directly today. And out of all that we've been hearing her say, she has as well touched on conversations which have suggested that all of what is happening, why doesn't she decide to just walk away from it all to ensure that it all comes to an end? She's quoted quite specifically conclusions arrived at by justices of the Supreme Court in previous cases, where she makes the argument strongly that as an official of the court and as a member or a person of interest in a process as was seen currently being undertaken under Article 146, she cannot decide by herself that she's going to resign. But a bit more really this afternoon on what it is that we've been hearing her say as part of the reasons why she's decided to want to come out today and speak and address the nation. She says that it's historic, and indeed it is quite historic. In all of our 68 years history, this is the first of a time we've ever reached this particular point where a committee has been set up and the Chief Justice has become a subject of such a committee where there are hearings for her removal. Hence, it is important that she goes through with this and then address the nation. But she as well makes reference to the decision by herself and her lawyers to challenge the ongoing processes at the Supreme Court, despite the court ruling against her, and the rulings and the reason of the court has subsequently been made public. It's a 32-page reasoning by the court which has become public, where she, amongst many other things, made an argument as to why she wanted the processes or the hearing be made public. That was disagreed upon by the justices of the Supreme Court. But today, she again made the argument as to why she believes that process should be made public. And it was a reason why she says she took her time to go through the petitions brought against her by the 3 individuals, Ms. Ofori, One Ayamga, and then Shining Stars, detailing what is captured in these petitions, and also revealing, in addition, her responses to these petitions, making the case that any right-thinking member of society, having gone through these petitions and then as well, it's all I'm going to say just before I hand over back to you in studio, Kemeni, that she has instructed her lawyers to begin processes to seek a review of the conclusions as was drawn by the justices of the Supreme Court in that her injunction application. We know that the substantive matter is yet to be heard, but that injunction application which she sought to have the ongoing constitutional process halted, she says she's seeking a review of that, and so we'll look forward to it. From all intents and purposes, she says she is not doing this for herself alone, but she's doing this to protect all justices of the Supreme Court and all such members of constitutionally mandated bodies whose processes for removal has been stated quite explicitly in Article 146. And so it does look like we will continue to hear a bit more from the Chief Justice, who says that what she is currently going through is nothing short of a breach of her constitutional rights, and at times she has felt violated. Mawana Egbeta from Holiday Inn, now with a new name, which we're yet to get fully wrapped up in our minds. Back to you in studio, Kemeni, where I'm sure conversations with experts will kickstart to get an understanding as to why even we're seeing the CJ address the nation in the manner that she's done. Kemeni.
Moana putting it all in a nutshell, therefore, as the Chief Justice Torkorno has just addressed the press and by extension the public for the first time since the impeachment process has begun for her removal. She's been addressing all those issues that have come in the press. Now, Alfred has joined me, and Alfred, just before I move on to Kweku Ansah, you're going to go through some of the things that we have heard, first of all, absolutely, but also the process so far, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, and Kemeni, you are right, and also that was complemented by what Mawana said, that the Chief Justice, well, for the first time, going into the details of the petitions, as we got to know, had been submitted, and against a reason why she was even asked to step aside for this entire process to kick in. We knew about it, but then again, we wanted to respect the law. And so we had no right to actually put it out there. She has then opened the Pandora's box, some will say. Now getting into the details of the petition herself. But the point that she makes is that she did not receive a copy of the petition submitted to the committee by the president. What she has is the copy given to her by the president. And that she requested copies of the petition that the members of the committee have, which was going to be used for the hearing against her, but she was denied.
Absolutely.
Now, fundamental question is what really informs her doubt as to why she thinks that
they will be different.
They will be different. that the petitions that the president gave to her
will be different
from the ones that the committee will be using for her hearing. That's one that really struck me. Already, she has a position about the entire process, that it has been orchestrated, and she kept using that phrase. It's been orchestrated.
Yeah, it's been designed
to ensure her removal.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the constitutional process. She also makes the point that the secrecy of the proceedings, as enshrined in the Constitution, it does not necessarily mean that an agenda can be pursued to remove a Chief Justice under the clothing of that secrecy of the process.
Absolutely.
And that's why she decided that she wanted everybody
let's take some of the things that we, the questions that we have at this time to the phone lines and speak to the former, executive director of the GBA. Well, my understanding is we lost Kweku Ansah over the phone. Lawyer, my understanding is you're back, and thank you so much for joining us. It's Alfred and I over here. But I have a ton of questions, but I think we should start from the point. We know what the Chief Justice says she set out to achieve with this news conference, being that, she wants the public to know what is going on. What do you think she has achieved at the end of today, at the end of that news conference?
Hello?
Hello, lawyer, can you hear us?
Hello?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Indeed.
The question again?
Yes. I was asking, really, what do you think she has achieved with this news conference?
Well, thank you. I must say that I'm disappointed, honestly, to say the least. The Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, he is the head of the arm of government that oversees matters of justice. If she herself is taking her own case to the court of public opinion, it means he has lost confidence in the system. Worrying concern for the whole nation. I think that concern very, very little as a way of projecting image as Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. I think that she has been pushed to what she has done by frustration and built-in access to marks and loss of confidence and a personal vendetta on Justice Kwama. All have coalesced into what she has done this afternoon. I think the Judicial Council must be alive to its constitutional duty of counseling the Chief Justice on how she must behave publicly. We are paying the Council of State allowances so that they can advise the Chief Justice to behave herself. Now, if the Judicial Council is found wanting in this task, I mean, there's no justification whatsoever. The Chief Justice must not be allowed to fight her own cause in the court of public opinion. She has sworn an oath to do justice to all manner of people. And she keeps saying and reminding the whole nation that the law is the law.
Well, then, but is that not to say then? Is that not to say then, lawyer, that for her to come out?
A committee has been established by the president. She must allow the process to terminate. And then she can make her own pronouncement on the final outcome. But now that she has taken the battle to the court of public opinion, what else does she expect the president to do? They to trigger off another challenge. I think, this hasn't done very well at all.
But I mean, based off what you have said, is that not to then say that perhaps she is trying to tell the people that she has tried to use the system to fight back and she hasn't won and she's turning to the people? That is why she's speaking to us today. She would have achieved that, wouldn't she?
So now, if an ordinary litigant tells the nation with the support of the Afro Barometer that the confidence of the citizens has waned totally, what would she say? So I don't think that the mere fact of the membership of Kwama should drive her to what she has done this afternoon. If Kwama is the object, it is a personal thing that she can sort it out later. Kwama shouldn't be, her problem at all. Her problem, rather, would be to assist, to cooperate with the committee into bringing this whole thing to an end. You see, the way things are going, she's knowing herself in her own bone. And I would describe this as the musings of a drowning Chief Justice. She's only musing. And I don't think that, it is. I'm speaking now for and on behalf of my own friend Gertrude. I beg her not to do this, not to repeat what she has done. I beg her. I'm only begging her. This one is not going to do her any good, any credit whatsoever.
I see.
She has now opened herself to attack by plunging her own dagger into her case.
Very well.
No, it's not acceptable.
Very well. Lawyer, hang on for me, Alfred. Listen, we had a ton of issues that had come up out of that news conference that we've just seen.
Yeah.
Lawyer Nkansah has just pushed us forward. By the way, Lawyer Nkansah is former executive director of the Ghana School of Law. He's just pushed us forward into that issue about that petition, the aspect of the petition where Justice Poaman sat on the same case with her.
Yeah.
The petition has been identified by Yamga Korogo as a, in that petition as a case in point for her stated misbehavior or misconduct.
Yeah.
And she suspects that Justice Poaman will then be a witness on that case. But here he is also chair of the committee for her removal.
And she emphasized that, and he accepted to do so.
Yeah, and the president also, appointed him.
But then again, she also made the point that she doesn't decide on the outcome of cases alone.
Absolutely.
Because there are a number of justices who sit on a particular case. That position that she takes, and as to whether that would also be enough basis to, as it were, then drum home a point, is one that at this time, and that's what Lawyer Nkansah was talking about, that she has then got into the court of public opinion because she's lost confidence in the system. But how would it end for her? I think that's the fundamental question Nkansah was now getting into, as to how this will end for her. Nkansah, I mean, from where you sit, how will this end for her now that she's decided to fight her case in the court of public opinion after she failed to get the Supreme Court to rule in her favor that this entire process should be made public for us all to see, on television? Hello, Mr. Nkansah. Hello? Unfortunately, Kevin, I think we lost Nkansah there. We'll try to get him back on the telephone to have a conversation. But this case has traveled a path, and rightly so. There are almost 5 suits seeking to stop the process. All of it has been thrown out, and the Supreme Court ruling on all of them. This one is what started it. The old TAFO member of Parliament, Vincent Assefuah, sets the pace for that. And then when it all started, his argument was that the president violated Article 146 by consulting the Council of State before notifying the Chief Justice. Fundamental question was that how did he get to know that at that time
the president had not given
the copies of the petition to the Chief Justice? Just a day after he filed this, the Chief Justice then indicated that she has got copies of the petition against her. This was ruled out. And in fact, the former or immediate past Attorney General, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, was a lawyer for Vincent Assefuah and still is. Now, fast forward, we see Godfrey Dame coming into the picture a lot more. Now, also was lawyer to the Chief Justice when she decided to take the matters into her own hands and then fight this matter in the court of law. Then there was a Benezose, also another citizen as well, who sought to have the Supreme Court halt their process because, in his view, the president violated Article 146 by consulting same position that Vincent Assefuah took as well. So there was that ruling. The 3-2 ruling, the majority ruling, if you recall, Vincent Assefuah questioning why some of the justices took the position they took. The full details of this particular ruling on this case was made available on the 21st of May, which we got into portions of it here on TV3. And then also there was one by Theodore Kofi Atakote, who made the argument that the president's discretion must conform to published regulation, and that the absence of such regulations renders the process illegal. That fundamental point that he made was flawed because the Supreme Court argued otherwise, and in fact made the point as well that
one would echo so man Ghana ye politics emu. Chawadjin and answer for comment bra our comment section video she mess also be like and so ediama me share ma foforo nya bi hwe na fe fa comment ne bra our comment section wo abusuan sana me kan ye no aha the Punch TV makramo.